Betrayal is painful. We were discussing betrayal last week, and we were talking about the impacts that betrayal can have on us as individuals. And of course, betrayal can lead to all sorts of other, actually, diseases and disorders, both mentally and physically. Well, today we're going to be talking about the link between betrayal and depression, specifically self-betrayal and depression. Sit back and let's learn about this together. So when speaking about betrayal last week, we were discussing the fact that for there to have been betrayal, there would have had to have been trust first. And when we're little kids, we trust what we think. We trust what we feel. We trust what we experience. But as we grow older, things can happen where we start to question whether we know what we're saying or we know what we're thinking about. When we're maybe in family systems where we say, I feel sad, and our family says, oh, you don't feel sad, you're fine. We begin to question ourselves, and then we begin to betray our own trust because we don't act in ways that are congruent with how we think, how we feel, what our needs are. We start to shove our own thoughts and feelings down. Depression has actually been called anger turned inward, where we begin to interpret the problem that is occurring and the experience that we're having somehow as being our fault, that somehow we are the problem and that we are powerless to create any change in anything. So we just have to experience this painful dynamic where we must silence ourselves to keep the peace, where we must silence our thoughts, our needs, our feelings, our choices, our preferences. We have to betray all of those. We can't trust ourselves any longer because we have to be who the other person wants us to be, because I can't trust myself. I've been taught that I'm not trustworthy, so I'm living in this paradigm. We're trying to keep the peace in this instance. We're trying to make a happy world. We're trying to keep the people around us happy by shoving down our own thoughts, our own needs, our own desires, our own feelings. But spoiler alert, it doesn't work. It's not more peaceful. It leaves us powerless. It leaves us feeling helpless. It's painful. It saps my energy. It makes me even more self-critical because I'm shoving things down. I'm trying to change things around me, but I can't make the situation okay because it's not. And I begin to apologize for things that aren't my fault. I apologize for expression of my own thoughts. I apologize for expression of my own feelings, my own needs, my being. I begin to apologize for existing. Remember, in betrayal, self-betrayal exists. And when I shove down my own authenticity and needs in order to control outcomes in this codependent relationship, in order to not rock the boat, in order to demonstrate that I love you and therefore I'm worthy of love, I lose myself. In this betrayal of myself, my personhood, my needs, my worth, I betray my value. I betray my need to be known. And I'm unable to be loved for who I am because I'm not being who I am. I'm trying to be somebody for you. I'm betraying who I am to become somebody else, to be loved by you, to make myself somebody worthy of love when I was worthy of being loved all along, and it is a lonely spot. And in this lonely spot of isolation, I begin to engage in depressogenic thinking. I live in conversations in the past. I rewrite interactions. And I do this in order to change outcomes, but I can't change outcomes. I rewrite these conversations where I wished I had spoken up, where in my mind I'm saying what it is I wished I'd said, rather than shrinking and closing in on myself and becoming smaller for the world around me in order to not be hurt as much. And by doing that, by shrinking in, I'm betraying myself and my needs. I'm hurting myself. And these things contribute to depression. Now, I don't want you to misread or mishear me in this. I'm not saying be selfish. This isn't about putting my needs over somebody else's needs. It's about my needs being important too. It's about me being allowed to be authentic as well. It's about me being worthy of love, just like I believe you are worthy of love. It's about me being allowed to be who I am, who I was designed to be, in the same way that I believe that you are allowed to be who you were designed to be. And they're going to be different. And we're going to have different thoughts and feelings. And it's okay if we feel differently about the same thing. We would think it was ridiculous to say everybody in the world should like mint chocolate chip ice cream. I happen to love it. My husband happens to hate it. But it would be ridiculous to say everybody should love this, because everybody is not the same. We're going to experience the world differently. We're going to have different thoughts. My thoughts and my feelings and experiences are valid and valued and valuable, just like yours. It's me too. So I get to accept me. I get to be me. I get to work on me even while I'm struggling with the me that I am. It doesn't mean I'm not going to grow either. I'm going to grow and change and develop at my pace. When I don't speak up for myself and I betray myself and my thoughts, my needs, when I betray my boundaries and allow things to happen that I don't want to happen and do things that I don't want to do, I become angry and resentful. But if I'm doing these things in order to gain the love for other people, I shove those things down, and anger turned inward is depression. So I want to encourage you, don't betray yourself, hence contributing to depression, but rather speak up assertively with your thoughts and your needs and your wants. Lean into discomfort in healthy ways. And if you don't know how to have those uncomfortable conversations, reach out to a counselor. Read some good books on communication and start to apply those things. Get a life coach. But don't betray yourself, because betrayal leads to all kinds of pain, even when we do it to ourselves. I hope that you learned something today, and I hope that you learn to trust yourself. If you're struggling with that, or if you are a AAA card-carrying, self-truster, boundaries living person, that's great. But however you are, however you came to this YouTube channel today, I just want you to know that you are welcome here, exactly as you are.